Hello, I'm Dr. Sri Banerjee, core faculty for the College of Health Sciences and Public Policy at Walden University. And in this video, if you're listening to the podcast, this is an important measure to be understanding in terms of transplantation and the types of reactions that may take place in the recipient. So graft failure a lot of times happens after a year. And after a year of liver transplantation, having any sort of organ transplantation has the potential to be something that fails. So let's think about this a little bit. So you have a donor chance of failure. The organ that's been came from the donor, this may be getting rejected. On the other hand, there's a possibility that after 1 year there's a positive sort of reaction. So this ideal score is one that some of my colleagues and I wrote about this, and also I've had a doctoral student in understanding this. So again, this is the graft failure is the donor and the host is the recipient. So graft failure after 1 year for an adult recipient of a deceased donor as compared to a reference donor. So the reference donor is 43-year-old donation after brain death. So 43 years old, I'm going to fill out here. I have on here actually. And then donor height. So donor height is 172, and make sure to change around the units. So 172 centimeters is the donor height, and then the donor weight is 80.7 kilos. So 80.7 kilos is what is entered here. And remember, I had to enter this actually manually. This didn't appear on its own. So 80.7 kilograms, and I had to change this around, see it's pounds again, and then change it around kilos. So what else is in here? No insulin dependence, no CVA cause of death, donation after brain death, or donation after circulatory death. So in this case, we're having no CVA caused death. And let me scroll down here. By the way, the creatinine was 1.1. There's no units for that, which is kind of difficult to understand. So again, no CVA cause of death, no insulin dependence, and the organ type was donation after brain death, because it says DBD. I know you can't see it under my big head, but it's actually over here, the DBD, so donation after brain death. So we have everything filled out, and then you can go ahead and look at the copy result, and in fact, because it's a reference category, the relative hazard of graft failure at 1 year is 1.0. So let's change these around a little bit and see how that affects everything. So let's just say there was a CVA, cerebrovascular accident, which is typically like a stroke. So say they had that, then what would be the hazard of failure after 1 year? So then it would be 21% higher, or 1.21. So just having the cause of death change actually increases the graft failure probability. Then let's say this was donation after circulatory death. So then that increases to about 97% higher, and 1.97. So as you can see, comorbidities that exist for the donor, that actually makes the recipient, the liver recipient, to go through a damaged liver, and so that's why when you add insulin-dependent diabetes mellitus organ type, when it's a circulatory death, that's a problem, and then cerebrovascular accident. All of these comorbidities are many times seen in the general population, and so when there's liver transplantation, there's a possibility that the reference donor, the deceased donor, reference donor, how they died, well, the reference donor is just standard. So relative hazard of graft failure 1 year is 1. That's the one that's referenced. So once you know the reference, then you can understand the relative hazard. So I've gone over this in quite a bit of detail. You saw some of the cases where the ID2EAL score changed. So here I switched over to an original article, and that is assessment of donor quality and risk of graft failure after liver transplantation. So this is the acronym for that. So I've transitioned over to a peer-reviewed article that I participated in as well. I wanted to also show you the application and what the acronym IDEAL stands for. And this is very important as a mnemonic device as well, so that you remember the differences and the complications of the equation. So IDEAL stands for insulin-dependent diabetes mellitus. Another D, remember ID2EAL. So there's one D, death by circulation or brain death. So that's the cause of death. So one is donor type, and then one is cause of death, which is the second D, and then EAL, so serum creatinine, age, height, and weight, which is kind of length, if you include height and weight. So the IDEAL score has better discrimination than DRI using Bootstrap corrected concordant index. So that's kind of a mouthful, but relative risk of, remember that was on the right hand side in the previous part. Graft failure range from 1.15 to 3.5. We witness somewhere around the 2s when they do have diabetes mellitus in the history of CVA. So again, this is the IDEAL acronym. So those were the findings here. I hope you take some opportunity to look at this primary research that I was involved in with many other co-authors. Thank you for listening.